Please hold while I try to connect you.
Hello?
Hey, how are you?
Hello?
Yeah, you can hear me? Can you hear me? Huh?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. And the Cameroonese, Macron was in Britain today to visit Boris Johnson. Or the Cameroonese harassed him all over the place. Finally, they were looking for him. I think he was supposed to meet with Prince Charles. The Cameroonese went there, then they went to number 10 Downing Street. I think they were basically trying to hide Macron, take him through back channels, And they finally got the side of him, and the Cameroonians were just, they've learned a lot from us in the past 3 years.
Yes, yes.
I think, there's some logic in it because they are going to the root cause of their own problem. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's where they're going now?
Well, if they're going after Macron.
Yeah, then they're going to the root cause, yes.
They're going to, because that, so it is good to see it. There is so much suffering in the world, after independence, there was this, for like a generation after independence, I think it lasted for less than a generation. There was some aspirational aspects to the life of our people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We finally got that, and then we later found out that they really was not independent. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I think the current generation is beginning to relieve that reality of a lack of genuine independence, which has occasioned all of this, whether it's Nigeria or Transafrique, that reality that they never really were independent. They never really were allowed to have their best and brightest, right? Preside over the destiny of their people. I think those chickens are coming home to roost, right?
Yes.
Because in Nigeria, the best and brightest were chased out, were sidelined.
Yes.
The Republic in Cameroon, the best and brightest were all quote unquote pacified and killed.
Yes.
In Congo, the best and brightest were killed.
Yes.
And
in Togo, the best and brightest were killed.
Yes. So they elevated these misfits and they just destroyed, the independence, the so-called independence of these nations. And I think now, 2-3 generations later, I think people just cannot take it anymore. And I think in the 90s, it was a confrontation of what one can call the symptoms. So we fought against the one-party state, against the PRs, against the all of those
the Boangis, I was going to say the Boangis.
Yes. Yeah, and then this time we're not fighting against the symptoms, we're going to the root causes, So we're talking about the CFA franc, we're talking about Macron and France, and the Cellule Africaine and the Élysée Palace that manages all of these things. We're now going to the root causes, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And the fact that it's coinciding with this consciousness about Black lives in America, I think, it's a moment that needs to be seized, So
you cannot be any more right, because and we need to really seize on the moment, like you said. You see this whole thing about Black Lives Matter and colonization in Africa, like you just said, are all tied together. And if we're going to be successful in Black Lives Matter in America, Black lives have to matter in Africa. And Black lives in Africa means confronting the colonial system that is set up by white supremacists, the system that white supremacists select the leaders in Africa, and if any of the leaders doesn't toe their line, then they manufacture reasons to go and get rid of him, like saying he's clinging to power and all that crap. So while in the West, they need to confront, Black lives will have to deal with the police and the systems and the legal systems and the corporate systems that are set up to make sure that Black lives don't progress and that it doesn't matter. We need to translate that in Africa because that translates through colonization, through them corrupting the AU. You know, AU funding comes from mostly from Europeans. It comes from the West. And then the Chinese have come and they're using the same system. They go in there and they look for a way to suppress you by either giving you loans that you cannot pay, or give you loans and say we will bring our own workers to come and actually do the work, which means that really they're not really doing anything because they make sure that there's no multiplier effect on your economy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean there's a pathway that was established 400 years ago after the destruction of the African systems, of their tribal sovereignties and all of that stuff. There was a kind of a framework created, you know, for the white supremacy and the destruction of African people, of black people. So it's still in place, and that's what the Chinese use. I mean, it's just like in this country, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you are an activist and a serious organizer, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is a system already in place that you can use to affect policy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what, for example, you know, I told you about how, you know, my framework has completely changed. That I've adopted the framework of not working as a so-called Amazonian activist, but as an American, right?
Mm-hmm.
An American citizen, an American constituent, an American organizer, an American activist, to alter, to change the policy of my country, the United States of America, regarding certain things, in this case, their policy towards Cameroon, right?
Yes.
That's you know. So there's a system in place which you can come in and use that system to effect that policy change, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
So you have that system. You know, you can work through your congressman. If your congressman happens to be on the Foreign Relations Committee or on the subcommittee on Africa, you can work through that. Your senator, you know, you can work through that. So we already have that system in place that people can come and work through and get what they want. So the Europeans came in and put a system in place for exploitation and dispossessions of Africans. That system is still in place and anybody can come in and use that system. So that's what the Chinese are using. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They just come in and they just say, okay, this is what the Europeans did. This is how effective. This is the playbook they used. It was effective. We're just gonna use the same playbook.
Absolutely.
It is for us, to destroy that playbook and then rebuild our new systems that protect us against these 400, 500 years of systematic dispossession. You know?
Yes, and you see the system that you just talked about, how you would approach it more as an American citizen than an outsider fighting from outside. It's exactly what happens because you defeat the West in the West. You don't defeat them out there because out there they're militaristic. They manipulate easily because they can exert their power. You know what I'm saying? But when you take it internally, either through Congress or even on the streets, you know, the Vietnam War was ended not even through Congress, was ended on the streets and by mass protest in university campuses, and then it became because the Western governments only succumb to their own citizens. They don't succumb to any other force out in the world except their own citizens. And so yes, when you go through their own system, then you can challenge them effectively. So
and for somebody like me, right, it completely keeps me away from dealing with this, very annoying so-called Amazonian politics. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to deal with with the stupidity of. I mean, when you have that framework, right? You look at these people for arguing about these little things, these middlemen, and their little what's the word I'm looking for?
And the subsystem that they're working with, man, the corrupt system that they're working with,
it's even, I mean, just as primitive as the Cameroonian system that we're trying to get away from.
Well, what I was going to say is that it
takes me away from that, and takes my energy away from that, and allows me to focus on strategic persons, strategic staff members in those offices that want to reach, right? Build those relationships and try to have an influence. Obviously, the Republic is spending millions of dollars with lobbyists, fighting them. Then I think we're confident that, if we use the system that is already in place and advocate for justice, I think ultimately we'll succeed. So that anyway.
Yes, but let me just say this, okay? If you see what you just described as you want to get away from the Ambazonian or Cameroonese that is part of the Western supremacy and the effects of it. It has affected our people psychologically. It has made us tend to fight against each other rather than fight the machine that is in place controlling all of us. You know what I'm saying? And so when you come and you're thinking straight and you're trying to focus that, no, this is the machine that we should challenge. Let's not be fighting against each other. Let's bring out our best to take them on. What they only see is their little tiny interests. And you cannot deal with that. Yes, that's where the confusion is coming from. Otherwise, if you look at the middleman, they down there not really doing anything. In fact, they're killing each other. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't do anything to the system.
It's so frustrating because we sit here, we form an organization in the United States of America, right?
Mm-hmm.
We register that organization in the United States of America, and we have a mission, right? And instead of beginning to treat that organization as an American organization, we take the organization and try to use it as an instrument to elevate middlemen, to provide salve to thieves and grifters. It's absolutely crazy. How do you form an American organization, and instead of using that American form organization, American registered organization, to engage with American stakeholders for your purposes, you're now using that organization to say, oh, I'm supporting this middleman or that middleman. It's a joke.
Yes, and if you go and look at that, support is based on tribal affiliations or some other affiliations other than actually confronting the problem for which they came together. You understand?
Yeah. So it is a complete disconnect. I think it's a lack of, it's very difficult, right, when, and immigrant communities are very insular. You know what I'm saying? They're very insular, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking the other day about this guy who created a video and said, within the Indian community, if there's a trouble between spouses, they try to resolve it within the Indian community and don't bring in the American system that can come in and wreck, a family and wreck, stuff like that. So it's very insular. There's something very comforting when you're in a community, especially for those of us who are first generation immigrants, right? Mm-hmm. Who come here, we'll meet with, maybe people that we grew up with, names that we're familiar with, obviously cuisine and music that we're familiar with, that brings us all together, right? Mm-hmm. So it's very, very challenging to break out of that comfort zone and say, you know what, I've gotten my American citizenship. Let me make that mental switch and become an American and engage in something that I believe strongly as an American. It takes a strong, conscious effort to make that psychological break, you know. And I think that's where a lot of our people have gotten stuck. You know what I'm saying? Definitely they want to do something about what is happening back home. But that insularity, right, which a lot of us have as first generation immigrants in this country, prevents us from seeing it beyond those limited perspectives. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
especially if the leadership of that organization is also lacking in that break that you're talking about. Then even takes the masses down a very rabbit hole.
Yes, leadership is very key, because if you have a leadership of an organization who comes out and says, you know, one of our challenges as a people, right, is trying to live as, you want to live as a Barefoot man in Minneapolis. You cannot do that. If you want to live as a Barefoot man comfortably in this world, you go live in Barefoot, right? You speak the language, you eat the food. I was going to use speech and say you chop the food, you know what I'm saying? And you are a Barefoot man in your element, right? For those who made this adventure, right, to a different place, you must adapt in order to live a more fulfilling life. You must adapt. You must live as I don't know how they call residents of Minneapolis, but in Chicago you have to live as a Chicagoan in Chicago in order to really fulfill yourself as a human being, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we have to. I'm calling it adaptation.
Or fulfill your dislocation and adapt and be part of your new environment. You know.
Yes. We're not saying you deny yourself or your history. I mean that is immutable. It is who you are, right? But you have to have that psychological break and say, I'm in a new society. There are different rules. If you're gonna live as a Barefoot man in Minneapolis and want to do everything as if you're in Barefoot, there's always gonna be stress and tension, right? You're not gonna quote unquote live your best life, right?
Yes.
You know, so transferring that into the political arena, that's what you see a lot of this parochial thinking, you know, and it's just hard to break through. It's hard to break through. You know, I said, no, you cannot think this way. Let us think. Let us accept our dislocation, right?
Yes.
Let us accept the new reality of our current environment. Let us look at the systems that work in our current environment, right? And get in there and see what we can do, right?
Yes.
So we had a discussion with this guy who is a trainer. This guy trains organizers. And one of the things he said, you know, referring to our case, is that not many Americans give a shit about Cameroon, frankly speaking. Because not many Americans give a shit about Cameroon, not many American policymakers give a shit about Cameroon. So if we have a determined focus group of people, small number of them, as small as 5 or 10, we can change that American policy. We can change it.
Yes. Because you now come as a constituent member, but then you also help educate your congressman or your senator about what your issues are, and especially in some of the committees that you talked about, then they are already positioned to deal with that kind of a problem, and so you will get some traction there. You know. It's really. I think what you're talking about is being able to get away from the parochial thinking without getting away from the parochial problems. But you use your extraction, see the problems well, and then look for the solutions outside. Especially, you know what we really talk about is some of the colonial damage that they've done to our own thinking. And so our fighting is infighting for the little that is there, rather than opening your mind, free your country, use the system here to defeat them abroad. So that because if you really successfully translate Black Lives Matter to African Lives Matter, then you start showing the equivalent of the police here, who the police are in Africa that are kneeling, that are using their knee on the neck. Then you can see the bigger picture, and then some of what you're talking about really becomes clear to you that, you know, in order to get the European knee or the Western knee off African necks, you need to come to their Congress, you need to go to the stakeholders in this system and educate them so that they take care of that knee in Africa, not because they like it, but because you're a member of their constituent and you're making that issue and his job is to respond to your concern. You know what I'm saying? But you saw the video that I sent, the one from Congress, right? You saw how that guy.
I haven't watched.
Man, that guy defined that problem so clearly. I'm looking for a copy of the original video so that I can make it as part of a program on Voices, because that guy spoke so well. I want to know who he is. I don't know. That's why I want the original video so I can actually get to know who he is. He addressed it. Well, the guy told our history in a very brief way, but he identified all the problems. And he's so good. Find time and listen to it. You see why I sent it to you.
Is it on YouTube? Is that a YouTube link?
I don't know. Somebody forwarded it to me. I talked to him, and then I forwarded it to you also. But it's like the best presentation I have heard. It's brief. It's to the point. All the issues are brought in. It was a congressional kind of a meeting, I think, because Karen Bass is there, and there was one senator too who was there. The senator has always pushed our issues, so and that's a good example. You know, that senator pushes those issues because there are Ambazonians in his constituency, and he's made that clear that there are Ambazonians in his constituency that are bringing this issue to him, and he wants to be part of the solution. You know, so
and that is where the focus is. That is where my focus is, and not in going to these meetings and wasting my time and talking about the importance of middlemen or the merits or demerits of middlemen in this place who are just basically as that gentleman who you had the other day basically revealed. Their source of income now.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a source of income. And one of the things that the gentleman said, which was really heartbreaking when you think about it, was that he acknowledged that these people are using this crisis as a source of income. And then you know what he said? That maybe they should quote unquote legalize it. Remember him saying that?
Yes.
So somebody has engaged, people are engaging in unethical behavior, in malfeasance, in financial impropriety. And the solution to that issue is that let's make those improprieties, those malfeasances, legal, quote unquote legal, acceptable.
No.
That's why I cannot waste my time dealing with some of these folks. You cannot. Look at the thinking.
Yeah, very convoluted. Look
at it. It's not convoluted. It is that we should reward self by making it quote unquote acceptable.
Yes, all right. I'm back to work. Let's talk later.